Did you know that over 1 million people could be forced to leave the UK in 2025? Yes, you heard that right. The government's new immigration rules are stricter than ever, and they're set to reshape the lives of millions of immigrants and their families. But here's the big question. Could you, or someone you know, be affected? Imagine waking up one day to find out that your visa no longer qualifies, or that a small rule change means you're no longer allowed to stay in the country you've called home for years. It's not just a possibility, it's a reality for many. These new rules don't just tighten the screws, they completely rewrite the playbook, targeting everything from work permits to dependent rights and even language proficiency standards. But why is this happening now? What's driving these dramatic changes? And more importantly, what are the 10 key rules that could determine who stays and who goes? Stay with us because we're breaking down each of these rules in simple terms, uncovering how they impact everyday lives. Whether you're a student, a skilled worker, or someone building a family here, you'll want to know what's at stake and how you can prepare. The stakes are high, the clock is ticking, and the answers may surprise you. Ready to dive in? Let's explore the new immigration rules and what they mean for millions in the UK. Number 1. Stricter visa extensions. One of the most significant changes in the UK's new immigration rules is the introduction of stricter requirements for visa extensions. For many immigrants, extending their visa has always been a nerve-wracking process, but now it's about to get even tougher. Here's what's changing. The government is raising the bar for those applying to renew their visas, whether it's for work, study, or family. Applicants will now need to meet higher financial thresholds, provide more extensive documentation, and demonstrate their ongoing eligibility in ways that were not required before. For example, a skilled worker seeking an extension must now prove that their income consistently meets the new minimum salary requirements. Similarly, students will need to show not just academic progress, but also their ability to support themselves financially throughout their stay, without relying on public funds. These changes are especially concerning for families. Dependents, such as spouses and children, might also face additional scrutiny, with stricter rules on their right to remain in the country alongside the main visa holder. The impact? Many individuals who previously could have easily renewed their visas might now find themselves struggling to meet the criteria. This means more people could face the devastating reality of being forced to leave the UK. So, how can you prepare? Start by ensuring all your paperwork is in order, proof of employment, financial stability, and any other documentation required under the new guidelines. Being proactive could mean the difference between staying and having to leave. These tighter restrictions on visa extensions are just the beginning. As we move through the other new rules, you'll see how these changes are setting the stage for a completely different immigration landscape. Stay tuned for more. Number 2. Reduction in work permit categories. Another major shakeup in the UK's new immigration rules is the reduction in work permit categories, a change that could drastically alter opportunities for foreign workers. Under the revised policies, the government plans to eliminate certain job categories from being eligible for work permits, focusing only on what they deem high-priority sectors. What does this mean in practical terms? Jobs that were once accessible to international workers, especially in mid-level skill professions, may no longer qualify for work permits. Industries like hospitality, retail, and some technical trades, which have relied on international talent, could be hit the hardest. The government argues this change will prioritize domestic workers, but for thousands of immigrants, it spells uncertainty. For example, a chef working in a restaurant or a technician in a small company might suddenly find their profession excluded from the list of eligible jobs. Even those currently employed in these roles could face challenges when renewing their visas if their position no longer aligns with the updated list of approved categories. The ripple effects don't stop there. Employers who rely on skilled international workers will also face additional hurdles, such as proving why they can't fill these positions with local hires. For businesses already grappling with post-Brexit labour shortages, this could mean unfilled roles and a slowdown in growth. What can you do if you're in an affected field? Act now. Check if your job still qualifies under the new rules and explore options to upskill or transition to a high-priority sector. It's a daunting prospect, but being proactive can give you a critical advantage. This reduction in work permit categories is a game changer, and it's just one of the ways the UK is tightening its immigration policies. Next, we'll explore how the points-based system is also becoming stricter. Number 3. Points-based criteria tightening. The UK's points-based immigration system is a cornerstone of its immigration policies, But under the new rules, the criteria for earning points are becoming significantly more demanding. This tightening of the system is aimed at ensuring only the most skilled and qualified individuals gain entry or remain in the country. Here's how it works. Applicants are awarded points based on factors such as education level, job offer, salary, English proficiency, and age. Previously, meeting the minimum point threshold was challenging but manageable for many. Now, that threshold has been raised, making it harder for applicants to qualify. For instance, a higher emphasis is now being placed on advanced degrees and roles in high-demand sectors like healthcare, engineering, and IT. Additionally, salary requirements have been adjusted, with lower-paying roles no longer qualifying for full points, even if they are in industries with labor shortages. Age is another factor gaining more weight in the system. Younger applicants are now more likely to score higher as the government prioritizes individuals who can contribute to the workforce for a longer period. The impact of these changes? Many applicants who previously met the criteria could now find themselves falling short, especially those in mid-level or entry-level roles. This is particularly concerning for those already in the UK who are seeking to switch or renew their visas under the new system. To navigate these changes, applicants should focus on maximizing their points. This might mean obtaining additional qualifications, securing a role in a high-demand sector, or demonstrating exceptional English proficiency. Understanding the nuances of the updated system is key to ensuring eligibility. The tightening of the points-based system is raising the stakes for immigrants, creating both challenges and opportunities for those looking to secure their place in the UK. Number 4. Dependents' rights restrictions. One of the most controversial changes in the UK's new immigration rules is the tightening of rights for dependents, a shift that could have a profound impact on families. Dependents, such as spouses and children of visa holders, have traditionally enjoyed certain rights, including the ability to reside and sometimes work in the UK. However, under the updated regulations, these rights are being scaled back significantly. What's changing? For starters, dependents may no longer have automatic permission to work in the UK. Instead, they could face additional requirements, such as proving their ability to contribute to the economy or meeting strict financial thresholds. This means that families may find it harder to maintain their income and quality of life. Additionally, the right to reside as a dependent is also under review. Spouses and children of visa holders could face tougher scrutiny, including the need to demonstrate their financial independence or justify their stay in the UK. In some cases, dependents may even be required to leave the country if the primary visa holder loses their visa status or changes categories. These restrictions are particularly concerning for families who have built their lives in the UK. Imagine having to decide between staying in the country to work or separating from your loved ones because of these rule changes. The emotional and financial toll on families could be devastating. For those affected, it's critical to understand the new requirements and plan ahead. Families should ensure they meet the financial criteria and explore legal options to secure their dependents' rights. Being prepared can help minimize the risks and uncertainties posed by these new restrictions. This shift in dependent rights is just one of the ways the UK's immigration landscape is becoming more challenging for families and individuals alike. Number 5. Employer sponsorship rules overhaul. The UK government is tightening its grip on employer sponsorship, introducing a new set of rules that will directly impact companies hiring international talent. For immigrants seeking work in the UK, these changes mean their eligibility now hinges more heavily on their employer's compliance with stricter regulations. Under the updated rules, employers who wish to sponsor skilled workers must meet higher standards to prove they genuinely need to hire from abroad. This includes demonstrating that the position cannot be filled by a local worker, providing detailed documentation about the role, and showing they have the financial stability to support the visa process. One of the key changes is the introduction of hefty penalties for employers who fail to meet these new requirements. Companies that breach sponsorship obligations, whether intentionally or by oversight, could face fines, lose their sponsorship licenses, or be banned from hiring foreign workers altogether. This is likely to deter smaller businesses or those in sectors where compliance costs may outweigh the benefits of hiring international talent. For immigrants, this means the pool of eligible employers could shrink, creating tougher competition for sponsored roles. Additionally, those already employed under sponsorship visas might find their positions at risk if their employers fail to comply with the updated rules. To navigate this, Prospective employees should prioritize applying to companies with a strong track record of compliance and established sponsorship capabilities. If you're currently employed, maintain open communication with your employer to ensure they are aware of and prepared for these changes. The overhaul of employer sponsorship rules is designed to put more responsibility on businesses, but it ultimately creates new uncertainties for workers relying on sponsored visas to secure their future in the UK. If you found this video helpful and want to stay informed about life-changing updates like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It's just one click, but means the world to us. And tell us in the comments, how do you feel about these new immigration rules? Your thoughts could spark an important conversation. Number 6. Language proficiency requirements. The UK is raising the bar for English language proficiency, making it a critical factor in determining visa eligibility. This change aims to ensure that immigrants can seamlessly integrate into the country's workforce and society, but for many, it presents a significant hurdle. Under the new rules, applicants must meet higher standards in English fluency, whether applying for work, study, or family visas. This includes stricter testing requirements, with an emphasis on advanced skills in reading, writing, speaking, and listening. The exams must be taken at approved centres, leaving no room for shortcuts or leniency. Who does this impact the most? Non-native English speakers from countries where English is not a primary language are likely to face greater challenges. For example, individuals who previously passed with intermediate level proficiency might now fall short under the revised criteria. Even those who have lived and worked in the UK for years may find themselves needing to retake tests to prove their language skills meet the new standard. The consequences are far-reaching. A failed language test could mean losing out on job opportunities, visa extensions, or even the right to remain in the UK. For families, the pressure is even greater if multiple members must pass these tests to secure their status. To stay ahead, immigrants should start preparing early. Enroll in language classes, use online tools, or seek professional tutoring to enhance your skills. Resources like free practice tests and language apps can also make a big difference. This change may seem daunting, but with preparation and persistence, it's a challenge that can be overcome. The updated language requirements are yet another way the UK is tightening its immigration policies, and being ready could make all the difference. Number 7. Housing and financial proofs. The new immigration rules in the UK place a greater emphasis on housing and financial stability, requiring applicants to provide more comprehensive evidence to prove they can support themselves and their families without relying on public funds. This change introduces additional challenges for those looking to work, study, or settle in the UK. What's changing? Visa applicants must now demonstrate they have suitable accommodation arranged before their arrival, meeting specific standards for space, safety, and affordability. For example, sharing a small flat with multiple people may no longer meet the criteria. Additionally, landlords and letting agents are now required to conduct more stringent checks to ensure tenants comply with immigration regulations, adding another layer of scrutiny. On the financial side, the bar has been raised for the minimum funds required to support oneself in the UK. This includes proving that you have sufficient savings or a steady income stream to cover living costs such as rent, utilities, and daily expenses without needing government assistance. For families, the requirements are even stricter, with higher thresholds for those with dependents. These changes are particularly challenging for students and low-income workers who may struggle to meet the updated criteria. Without proper documentation, even strong candidates could face delays or rejections in their visa applications. To prepare, applicants should ensure they have detailed records of their financial situation, such as bank statements, proof of income, or savings. When it comes to housing, secure a rental agreement or evidence of planned accommodation that meets the government's standards. These tighter rules on housing and financial proofs are designed to ensure applicants can thrive in the UK, but they also create significant hurdles that require careful planning and preparation to overcome. Number 8. Stricter enforcement and penalties. Under the new immigration rules, the UK is taking a no-tolerance approach by introducing stricter enforcement measures and harsher penalties for those who breach visa regulations. This shift is aimed at curbing illegal immigration and ensuring compliance, but it has also created an environment of heightened anxiety for immigrants. One of the key changes is the increased frequency of compliance checks by immigration authorities. Employers, landlords, and even educational institutions are now required to take a more active role in monitoring the immigration status of workers, tenants, and students. Failing to conduct proper checks could result in heavy fines or legal consequences for these entities. For immigrants, the stakes are even higher. Visa violations, such as overstaying, working without authorization, or failing to update personal details, now carry stiffer penalties, including immediate deportation and bans on re-entry for several years. Even minor oversights, like missing a deadline to renew your visa, could have severe consequences. Additionally, the government has introduced new technology-driven systems to track visa compliance. Automated checks and data sharing between agencies make it harder for individuals to go unnoticed if they fall out of status. This increases the importance of staying vigilant about your visa conditions and timelines. How can you protect yourself? Start by knowing your visa inside and out. Be aware of your rights and obligations, and ensure you're meeting every requirement, no matter how small. If you're unsure about something, consult an immigration advisor to avoid costly mistakes. These stricter enforcement measures are a stark reminder that compliance is now more critical than ever. While the government's goal is to maintain a controlled immigration system, the burden of responsibility falls heavily on individuals to stay compliant and avoid penalties. Number 9. Limited access to public services. The UK's new immigration rules include a significant restriction on immigrants' access to public services, marking a shift towards self-sufficiency for visa holders. This change is aimed at reducing the strain on the country's resources, but it has raised concerns about the welfare of immigrants and their families. Under the updated policies, many visa categories will come with limited or no access to services like free healthcare through the NHS, public benefits, and subsidized housing. For example, certain visa holders may need to pay a higher health surcharge upfront as part of their application, covering their medical care while in the UK. This creates financial pressure, especially for families or individuals on tight budgets. Imagine needing medical treatment and having to pay for it out of pocket, even though you contribute to the economy through taxes. For those with children, the costs can multiply, as schooling and childcare might also require private arrangements or additional fees. The restrictions also extend to benefits like unemployment aid or housing assistance, which are no longer accessible to many visa holders. This means immigrants must demonstrate financial independence and have plans in place to handle emergencies, job loss, or other unexpected situations. What can you do to prepare? Start by budgeting carefully to account for potential healthcare or housing costs. Look into private insurance options or community support networks to bridge the gap. Additionally, always ensure your visa application includes detailed proof of financial stability. These changes emphasize the importance of self-reliance for immigrants while underscoring the growing challenges of navigating life in the UK under the new system. For many, this shift in access to public services is another hurdle to overcome in building a secure and stable future. Number 10. Annual quotas and application caps. The introduction of annual quotas and application caps is one of the most impactful changes in the UK's new immigration rules. These limitations mean that only a fixed number of visas will be issued for certain categories each year, adding a new layer of competition and urgency for prospective applicants. How does this work? Each visa category, such as skilled workers, students, or family reunification, will have a predefined cap. Once this limit is reached, no further applications will be accepted until the next year. For example, if the quota for a specific skilled job is 20,000 visas annually, any application submitted after that number is reached will be automatically rejected, regardless of merit. The impact of these caps is significant, especially for those in high-demand categories like healthcare workers or students. Even if you meet all the eligibility criteria, you could miss out simply because the quota has been filled. This creates a first-come, first-served system, pushing applicants to submit their documents as early as possible. Employers and educational institutions are also feeling the pressure. Companies may need to compete for spots to secure international talent, while universities could face challenges admitting students from abroad due to these restrictions. For immigrants, the stakes are higher than ever. Planning ahead is key. Monitor quota openings, submit your application early, and ensure it's error-free to avoid unnecessary delays. If you're in a capped category, it's worth exploring alternative visa routes or even considering other countries with more flexible policies. This new system of quotas underscores how the UK is reshaping its immigration priorities. For applicants, it means acting quickly and strategically to secure your place before the door closes for the year. Conclusion and solution. The UK's new immigration rules for 2025 represent one of the most significant overhauls in recent years. leaving millions of immigrants facing an uncertain future. From stricter visa extensions to limited access to public services, these changes touch every aspect of life for those hoping to live, work, or study in the UK. The overarching goal of these policies is to tighten immigration controls, but for many, it feels like the rules are creating barriers to stability and opportunity. However, there are steps you can take to prepare and protect your future. The key is awareness and proactive planning. Start by thoroughly reviewing the updated requirements for your visa category, from financial proofs and housing standards to points-based criteria and language proficiency. Knowledge is power, and understanding the rules can help you navigate the system with confidence. If you're unsure about your eligibility or the impact of these changes on your status, consult a professional immigration advisor. They can provide personalized guidance, ensure your application is error-free, and help you explore alternative visa routes if needed. For those already in the UK, staying compliant with your visa conditions is more critical than ever. Keep track of renewal deadlines, maintain proper documentation, and monitor any updates to immigration policies that may affect your status. Beyond preparation, consider upskilling or transitioning to high-priority sectors, as the UK's focus is shifting towards industries like healthcare, technology, and engineering. Taking proactive steps to align your skills with these areas can increase your chances of meeting the tightened criteria. While these new rules present significant challenges, they don't have to derail your plans. With the right information, resources, and strategic actions, you can navigate this evolving landscape and secure your future in the UK. If this video gave you the clarity you were looking for, let us know your thoughts in the comments. How do these rules affect you or someone you know? And don't stop here. Check out our previous video for more essential insights into UK immigration. Your support means everything to us, so please subscribe. It's just one click that helps us create more valuable content for you. Thank you for watching.